Watching. We're going to be doing the end of day recap for October 29th. This was yesterday. I'm going to start to get better about doing these at the actual end of day. So, starting off with GU, daily swing is bullish, daily internal leg is bearish. We got a daily ISP to the downside. 4 hour is also bearish. There is an argument to be made that your 4 hour is attached from here to here to here. If you're taking each break as a break, you could call that your 4 hour leg, which if that was your structure, you could have saved yourself. Well, you would have you wouldn't even have been looking at where I was looking at. Granted, the trade I took today on GU was not a valid one per our plan. So that would be this would be your structure, just by the way. But the way we're looking at it is this is one whole leg right here. So let's go on the 15 minute. So 15 minute on GU. We are starting off at 4 a.m. Eastern time. So starting off right in here. So had an order flow shift to the upside. We had another break to the another break, order flow shift to the downside. That would be just about 3 breaks right here. So therefore, anything past this point would be invalid. But nonetheless, let's take a look at the lower time frames and see if we got any entries. So we saw that over here. We had something happen right here in this last point of inducement, quote unquote area. This was a 15-minute POI. On the 1 minute, there's a really tough argument to be made that this would be the last point of inducement. This being the last point of inducement on a 15-minute POI, the way it is, you're stretching too many rules. This was also only 1 break to the upside, so not super big on it. The middle time frame is not good. And then justifying this is the last point of inducement, it's not good either. So really, you're just asking for a loss there, which would have been break even. Next, we had a sub break to the upside. Price came in, gave you a engulfing candle, but this is technically considered counter order flow. And since this would have been counter order flow, trading this POI from this point forward would be, against the plan. So you wouldn't even have been looking at right here because we had 1, 2, and 3 order flow shifts to the upside. So moving on, nothing valid on GU. USD CAD, these are my markings from today. So starting off on the daily, let's go to daily real quick. So wow, that did not do what I wanted. All right, daily swing is bullish. Daily internal leg is also bullish. 4 hour is also bullish. USD CAD is just extremely bullish. Where would you have looked at to get in? Our session started right around this point right here. So you could have looked for sells in here, which rightly would have been justified, right? To come into the 50% of the 4 hour leg, which is fine. Price broke, order flow shift to the upside, and then you would have looked for buys. Buys would have been intact from here. So let's take a quick gander here. So this would have been the 15-minute flip. There is no good price action here whatsoever. Last point of inducement, but price didn't respect it. Price broke above it, continued going up. And even if you looked at this extreme right here, which, this 15-minute extreme, let's take a look just to gander. Even though I personally, once a POI is 7 hours old, I don't look at it. This one would be right borderline of it. So price came in. Last point of inducement was right in here. Price did manage to take it. I, however, would not have been looking to go short here, even though the R was great. Let's see real quick. So order flow shift to the upside. Sub break to the downside. This would have been your flip. This POI for me is just a bit too old. Worst case, I would have potentially have looked for another confirmation candle right in here. But it's just that last point of inducement. It's not even, it's just the entry, man. It's the entry. I would have waited for a confirmation break, and the fact that this POI is, you know, 7 hours old. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Next up, I had a break to the upside. Price came in, tapped into our 15-minute refinement, or 15-minute refinement. You wouldn't have entered in anything with this wick right here. So moving on. All right, so Euro USD daily swing is bearish. Daily internal is also bearish. 4 hour is, at the time of this recording, for this price, is bullish. So our session started right around this area right here, where price had been consistently making lower lows. Oh, had an order flow shift to the upside. Order flow shift to the downside, break. Order flow shift to the upside, and then from there we wouldn't have been trading anything. Nothing at all. That settles that one. AU. So AU daily swing is bullish, daily internal is bearish. 4 hours also bearish. Let's just so you guys can see. Daily internal is bearish. And 15-minute, our session started right around here. And let's get some markups going real quick. Break to the downside. Order flow shift to the upside. Order flow shift to the downside. Wouldn't have looked for anything in here because that would be considered counter order flow. Break here. Potentially could have looked at something at this extreme right here, even though news is coming up. So even if there was an entry to be made, I wouldn't have taken it. And could have looked for buys in here, but then this would be an order flow shift to the upside. So realistically, once that broke, that's it. We're not looking for any more trading. But let's take a look if there was a sell. Last point of inducement here. No engulfing POI or anything created, so no trades. So overall, no trades today. The only trade that might have, tripped you up was on USD CAD because price had a break to the downside and it was coming right back up. I wouldn't have entered just because I would have preferred a greater point, an engulfing candle. The question is, would anybody in the community have entered? That's a good question. Probably update you guys in the video if you guys want me to find out. But with that being said, that does our EOD for Tuesday 29th. Peace.